Hi, welcome to the Tran Designs podcast. I'm your host, Melissa, also known as Anansi on Ravelry, and on Instagram, I am Tran Designs. Today is Monday, November 13th, 2017. I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit late recording this week, from last week, because I was vending over the weekend and decided just to wait until today, so the episodes will be a little bit closer together, but that's all right. I wanted to record to make sure I showed you my progress and talked about how the weekend went and everything, so so here we are. I hope you had a good week and a few days. I hope you're getting lots of crafting done. If you have holiday projects you're working on, I hope those are going well, and that you're on a good track to get them done by Christmas. So anyways, let's jump right into it, because I have some other stuff I need to do. Happenings this week. I was trying to think what I did essentially before the weekend. There was obviously show prep going on, a few last minute changes, things like that. I worked on Thursday night. I don't know. If there was anything, I'm sure I'll think of it. Hold on, let me think. I did, so one thing, that I thought of, Monday I did go back into my chiropractor that has been treating my ankle, and it's getting better. It's staying in, my bones are staying in a little bit better, and he said that he doesn't need to see me again until I'm out, so that's good. I'm still hurting here and there. I just had to switch how my legs were crossed because I'm right-handed, and so I usually will put my right leg over my left, but that extra weight down on the bottom of my foot doesn't feel good. Excuse me. So I don't think of it though until it starts to hurt, because it's just habit. I just sit down and cross my legs, and then after a couple minutes I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good. So anyway, luckily over the weekend my ankle didn't give me any problems. I'm so grateful for that, because a couple weeks ago when I vended, it did kind of irritate me. So anyways, it still bugs me. I can walk normal, but I have to be careful. I can't walk for long periods of time, constant, and I can't go for long distances still. It bugs me. Sorry, there's just a little catch. I might have to go grab something to suck on really quick. I was trying to think. There was something else I thought that popped into my head, but maybe not. Oh, yes there was. Oh, good grief. I was about to forget a whole day of the week, and I cannot fordo that. I cannot forget that. I cannot do that. That became I cannot fordo that. All right. We'll just create a whole new word. Wednesday, awesome, Marilyn was in town. Well, actually, she was in town like the whole week, but Wednesday was the day I got to see her. Hi, Marilyn. And we got to spend the whole day together. She came to my knitting group on Wednesday morning, and then we went to lunch. And then we went to the fabric store across the street from the coffee shop, and then we went to lunch, and then we went to Sally's and bought some fun things, and then came home, and she helped draft a pattern. Oh, sit right there. Keep knitting or doing whatever you're doing. Hold on. Hush, it's just me, hush. Those dogs. Okay, I have to show you this stuff, but I won't show it in acquisitions, I'll show it now. So this fabric store that we went to has super, super high-end fabric, but she gets it for really inexpensive. And a lot of people go, oh, it's these millions. No, she has full bolts of them. It's not just 1 or 2 yards. It's bolts of these fabrics. But like she has Ralph Lauren brand that is normally $300 a yard for $21.95 a yard. I mean, it's crazy. So she has lots of, like, she has no quilting cotton. It's not one of those stores. It's upholstery fabric and linens and silks and wools and everything but essentially what you get at Joann's, like, you know, all the other stuff. And while we were there, Marilyn is like professionally trained and is amazing. And I was really wanting to take her over there so she could see this awesome, cute little shop. And we started talking about these trumpet skirts with the different gores, and I had no idea what she was talking about. Like, I knew the concept, I understood what she was saying, but I'd never seen one. And then we looked it up, and anyways, I've seen them. I just didn't realize that was what they were called. But anyway, so we start talking, and you know, as we're looking at different stuff, and I found this one fabric, because then we started talking about what would make for good garments, because that's something I'm learning, is which fabrics are wearable, which aren't. I mean, it's pretty obvious which ones aren't, but it's more which ones are, like the less obvious ones. And like I said, I'm still learning. And I found this beautiful light blue fabric, kind of a turquoisey blue fabric. I'll show it to you. And just fell in love with it, and it has the right drape. And so she's like, you know what, I'll just buy you enough to make one of those skirts we were talking about. And I was like, awesome. So we get up to the cutting table, we go over to the cutting table, and there's kind of this weird seam across the back, because it's a lined fabric, and it has like some jersey knit behind it, and it had like this weird seam. And so the lady goes, well, we'll just start from after this weird seam. And Marilyn says, well, let's just get 4 yards. I was like, I don't need 4 yards for a skirt. But she's like, yeah, it's better to have extra. Okay. And we pretty much just finished off the bolt. I got more than 4 yards, because she didn't cut off that weird seam and the stuff before it. And so I got a lot more than 4 yards. But I didn't realize when I was looking at it, mostly because I don't know these things yet, it's 100% silk, which is why the backing is on it. Here is the beautiful color. Isn't that awesome? And then you can see this jersey knit in the back. I have a whole bunch of it. And we were laying it out and realized there is enough for me to do a skirt and like a blazer jacket. And I am so excited about that, because I think that is really classy looking. And so I can't wait. I'm so excited. I am not cutting this right now. I'm going to make 10 or 20 muslins first. Okay, not that many, but I'm going to make a few before I do this, because I want it to be spot on, and I want to know what I am doing before I use this. So anyways, I got that. And when we came back to the house, she's like, well, here, let me show you how to do this. And so she takes the craft paper that was wrapped, so just this brown craft paper that the gal had used to wrap up my fabric, and she just starts making this, like drafting this pattern, and she's writing notes on it so I can copy it in the future. Obviously I can trace this, but I mean, like, if I want to design one either for myself or for one of my kids or whatever. So so here's the pattern she drafted up. I was just involved in the fact I stood there and let her measure me. But you know, like here, she wrote here, and she drew this one and drew this, and then she wrote, you know, first line. You probably can't see that, but I'm just saying. And she wrote which direction the fabric needs to be going and all that. And then you draw this one, and it says second line. And it's your hips, and you know, or like, here's where your hip is, and you know, your waist, and you know, anyways, so it's like this full-on actual pattern. She just used my straight edge, sewing ruler, and she just starts whipping it up. I was blown away. Blown away. Like you guys know, I do really enjoy sewing, and I'm really still very new at it. I'm really good at following directions. Like I acknowledge the fact that I caught on to sewing pretty easily, and I take the time to be as, good as I can. I don't want to say perfect, because I'm not a perfectionist with it. I just do the best I can. But as far as doing stuff like that and whatnot, wow. I was just amazed watching the whole thing come together. But I'm so glad she wrote those extra little notes on there, because like Anansi saw a picture of it and she's like, oh, that would be a really cool skirt to have. Well, I'd love to make one for her, obviously in her size. And so now I can take that and adjust it and, adjust the length and blah, 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 blah. And anyway, so excited. Isn't it pretty? Never had anything silk in my whole life. So I feel like it's a very grown up thing. So yeah, see, like it just the movement, the drape. Oh, all right. I'll stop talking about that. It was so much fun. We just had so much fun, and I'm very happy that I got to spend the day with her. She's just become one of my favorite people, and I wish we lived closer to each other and not 6 hours away, so we could hang out. But anyway, Marilyn, it was so great to have you, and please come back all the time. Her parents live here, so it's kind of nice. I think that's all that was non-show related this week. And then, so I was vending Friday and Saturday at a local church here, but it's a really big church, and they clear out the chairs in the sanctuary, and so that's where all of us set up. And then they have like a big foyer where like all the food related people, the spices and the people with the different vinegars and olive oils and just all that kind of stuff, they're out in the main foyer entryway. And then where all the rest of us are in the sanctuary, and it's all handmade items. No network marketing people, no, none of the direct sales, none of those. It's all handmade stuff, and there's over 80 vendors. I mean, it's a big show, and it was very well attended this year. Christmas is in the air. My sisters and I have been talking about it over the last couple weeks. We all are like, I'm really feeling it for Christmas this year. Is it time? Like, and we all have this arbitrary, you have to wait till after Thanksgiving to do all this Christmas stuff. And my one sister's like, screw it. I live by myself. I want to put all my Christmas stuff up. So she's putting up her Christmas stuff. I don't have Christmas stuff, because if you've watched this show for any length of time, you know that I pretty much hate Christmas. I just have had a really hard time with that pretty much ever since my mom died. That was her big thing, was Christmas every year. That was just her holiday, and so I just have kind of hated it every year. I've made it good for the kids, but it's been stressful, and a lot of years we just had no money, and and families, not necessarily my family, but just the obligations and just everything that goes into it. I'm like, okay, Halloween's done. I just need to survive until New Year's, because Halloween's done and you blink and it is New Year's. But I don't mean to be negative. I'm just telling you that's what has happened with me. Well, over the last couple of years, it's been better, because we've been working the Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover. And this year especially, we really have actually started to gain traction, because Jake got his new job last November, and we've been actually moving forward on things, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this year, the last couple, I think this is the third year we've done it, we set aside a certain amount of money each paycheck in one of those, those money envelopes. Aren't those the greatest things ever? And I just stick it in, my underwear drawer. And every paycheck I get money out at, the set amount, and it's not a lot. But over the course of the year, it adds up. I keep thinking there's a dog whining, but she's right here. So, this year especially, the kids, the kids are easier to buy for. They know what they want. They just each want kind of a couple of things. You know, they're maybe a little bit more expensive, not crazy expensive, but it's just nice when they get bigger. And I don't have to put on such a show because it's still this magical time for them, but they don't need all the 30, 40, 50 little gifts just for the opening. They just know what they want and they appreciate those 3 or 4 things, and then the little stocking stuffers and, you know, little stuff that maybe their grandparents or whatever get for them. So pressure is off of us, and I was realizing, and I don't know if I talked about, I don't think I talked about this in my last episode. Maybe I did. If I did, I'm sorry. That I was like, I'm kind of feeling it for Christmas this year, and I hadn't said anything. And Jake, one day he's like, I'm really excited for Christmas this year. I'm really looking forward to it. And I said, me too. I don't know what that's like, because it's just been such a negative thing for so long, and it's kind of freeing and kind of a relief, like, oh, I can enjoy this, and it isn't stressful this year, and it's going to be fun this year, and it just, something has changed, and I'm so grateful for it. And if I talk much more about it, I might get a little teary-eyed, because in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, it's not so much my mom. Like, I need to change the subject because I'm going to get all emotional, but I need to not feel guilty about that side of it and just appreciate, you know, the good part of it. So, anyway, but I've noticed though, it's in the air. I didn't even bring it up with my sisters. One of them, we have a group chat on Voxer with the 3 of us, and I think it was Michelle was like, I kind of want to get my Christmas stuff out, you know, and Cheryl's like, I already have the boxes out essentially, and I'm like, I don't even own Christmas decorations. I don't decorate my house for anything, and that's not just a Christmas thing. I don't decorate the house. I hate the idea of bringing all this stuff out and then putting it all back, mostly because I don't have anywhere to put it all back to. So I don't have Christmas decorations, but I kind of wish I did, but I'm glad I don't at the same time. I have a couple, like I have a wreath. I'll set that out. But anyway, but it's around and people are feeling it. And I think part of it is the weather. It hasn't been crummy, but it's been very fall. It's been cold. You know, we've had to scrape our windshields in the mornings, and, you know, the heater's been kicking on because it's been below freezing a few times. And, you know, it's feeling like Christmas time. It's getting cold. Last year, it was crazy warm. It was almost 70 degrees in the middle of November, and people were wearing shorts and flip-flops and doing their lawn, and then going to these holiday bazaars and not buying anything because they're working on their lawn. They're not thinking Christmas. And then when Thanksgiving hit, everybody went, crap! And anyways, and then Snowmageddon hit. So this year, it's been cold. Friday was rainy and kind of crummy a little bit, you know, and so people were ready to spend money. And my show was fantastic, you guys. Last year was really bad. I made more this last weekend than I did at all of my shows combined last year. I mean, that's how bad last year was, but that's also how good this last weekend was. I've tweaked my booth a little bit. I added a curtain back behind. I didn't have that before, and my product is so small, and I have it on kind of a big display because it's hard to make a small thing big, you know. I have a picture of my booth, but what I did was I had Jake, I got this PVC pipe and I had him, you know, cut it for me. So, and then I put a black fabric over it. So that way when someone is looking at my booth, their eyes stop. You can't see through the booth. And I think that helped. And I also got a big banner that says all natural solid lotions because people have no idea what they're looking at. So on top of that, I kind of tweaked my booth layout and moved the table around a little bit and whatnot. I have fun Christmas lights all over my display, but I also stood right up there in the front, not in front of my stuff, but off to the side. And anytime someone would kind of read the banner and kind of look, I'd say, hey, have you ever tried solid lotion before? And I drew and I know that sounds like such a simple thing, but it drew so many people in. And they're like, no, I haven't. And I would pick one up and show them how it worked. And a lot of times it turned into, they'd buy one. And, that's the thing with my product. Like if I were to tell someone who's, let's say an indie dyer, who does these skeins of yarn that are between $20 and $30 a piece, for them to sell $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 worth of stuff, doesn't take that long. For me to sell that, my small ones are $5 a piece. The big ones are 10. People usually buy the small ones because it fits in their purse. It's not a big commitment. They can try it out. And sometimes I have buy 5, get 1 free deals for people who are doing stocking stuffers and things like that. Most of the time it's 1 or 2 small ones. So I'm making my money at $5 at a time. So, I don't want to say I have to work harder in general. I have to work harder to get the higher the higher amount, if that makes any sense. I have to talk to more people is what I'm meaning. So I was constantly, hey, have you ever tried solid lotion before? And I'm drawing these people in. And like I said, a lot of them started out would just buy one, and anyway, so I do want to show you my booth layout. Nope, stop that. Let me brighten my screen here. Stop. All right, let me turn it sideways here. Let's see how well it'll show up on the screen if I kind of turn it at an angle. So there it is. Ignore the chair right there. That was just an extra. So, I had my testers all over here. And then, do you see how, my product is small? And with my layout, when people would walk by, they could see through that to whatever was behind me. So I decided to put that curtain up to stop their gaze. And I also added a new product that was very successful. I put together these foot rescue kits that kind of got sideways. Anyway, so it has a full-size lotion bar. This is a salon quality file. It's not one of those crappy pieces of cardboard that they drop stuff onto that after you use it once it's going to come off. This is what they actually use in salons for pedicures. And then this is a pair of those super fuzzy socks. So anyways, I sold quite a few of these. That was great for my money making side because I sell those for $15. So that was really good. I actually had the lady just across from me who ordered 5 of them. Like she did this whole group. Anyway, it was a really good weekend. All that to say, really, really good weekend. And there was something I was going to circle back to that I said I would comment on. Okay. I'm done with talking about that. It was great. I got to talk to some great people. My dad came over and checked out the booth, loved it. I really value his opinion because he has my best interest in mind, but at the same time is separate from it. So when he walks up and sees the booth, he can say, you know what, this isn't quite working. What if we adjust this? Or, that this is just, and I know that he's not just criticizing. He's trying to help me be successful. And he walked up and he goes, I love it. It's perfect. Thank you. That was so great. He's like, it's inviting. You've adjusted this and the banner's good and just everything just, it fell into place. Everything this weekend just fell into place, and I cannot wait for not this coming up weekend, but next week, the weekend after Thanksgiving. I'm vending again, and I'm just already excited about it. With selling so much, I did run out of some of my scents and was very close to running out of some others. So today and tomorrow I will be making some lotions. Get that all replenished. I'm not gonna wait till next week. There's an event this weekend that there's a 99.8% chance I won't get into it because it is full. But when I got on their list, I said, please mark down that not only am I local, I already have product on hand and I can set up really quick. So if you have someone cancel even the day of, call me and I can jump in. So that's kind of in the back of my mind of I need to get my stuff replenished right away just in case, because I want to be ready, you know. I did have to order some more bags last night because the good problem, these I had left over from my retreat. I used these as the goodie bags. I over ordered last year because I needed to order in enough time and didn't know how many people were coming anyway, so I had 24 of them left over. I only have 9 left. So I was scouring the internet and I found there was only really one website that had these at the cost I got them at, but their shipping was crazy expensive, and so I was looking out for something similar, and I found essentially the same bag, only at the top, instead of having the zipper come across like this with the handle, it just has a zipper across the top. But it was a better shipping cost, way better shipping cost. And so I was able to order some of those. So anyway, the other thing I was going to talk about, I know you saw me just change my legs, my foot will hurt here in a second, but this couch is a little too tall, I have to, anyway. Talking about the Total Money Makeover. We are slated to get our car paid off this month. We're so close. We're so incredibly close to getting the car paid off this month. And anyway, send me some good car paying off vibes, some good money vibes. So close, you guys, like within just a couple $300. And I've done the math multiple times. And I was like, okay, for any of you, like, I'm going to get religious for just half a second. I prayed before this last show and I said, Heavenly Father, any extra that I get this weekend, I will put towards the car. I did. I said, just please help me to have a really good weekend so I can contribute to you know, getting the rest of the car paid off. And that definitely was the case. Anyway, don't worry, I'm not going to preach at you. That's what I did going into it. And it was such a fun weekend. Oh my gosh, my dad's a hoot. And the ladies next to me, she's one of my friends. And most of the Sweet Emmett Spinners group ended up there on Saturday. And my dad's a total flirt by nature. He just does. And those, he had the whole group going. I mean, finally I was like, you guys, I just can't take him anywhere. And they're laughing and oh my gosh, and they're all older than me, so you know they're closer to his age anyways. And we just had such a blast. I'm gonna change the subject. The last couple weeks I was done by this point and I haven't even started talking about the knitting, so let's get on to the knitting. Let's get on to the knitting. I have to be quick with this one because the recipient is in the other room sleeping. I have been doing like 4 squares a day. I was like, forget this 2 squares a day thing. I've just been knitting on it like crazy. So it's not 1 row a week. It's just essentially 4 a day and however many I can cram in. 4 is about my limit. My hands do start to hurt, mostly because I'm knitting really fast. I'm like, I just got to get them done really fast. And the acrylic has no give. And, you know, anyway, not complaining about it. Just 4 is my limit. So here's, oh, that's not, there we go. That's like a beige skin color. So this is the mustache and the face. So anyway, this is why I record on Fridays too. Yeah, I'm just gonna set that there. I haven't knit on it yet today. That is just a chart on Ravelry, Mario Granny square blanket or something like that. I'm doing mitered squares instead, because I don't want to crochet a million granny squares and then have to sew them together. Rather poke my eye out. So that's what I'm doing. It's on a size 7. I'm using just Red Heart and variations of that aren't necessarily that brand, but like the Michaels version. Like I said, all acrylic. It can be washed, it can be dried, it can be stepped on, it can be dragged through the mud, and it's going to be fine. I think I came up with a way to put like a fleece backing on it, but I'm kind of tempted to do maybe a flannel backing instead. I think it would be easier to work with when, like, what I thought I could do is lay it out on the back of the blanket, you know, and pin it down, and then just do kind of a whip stitch, but with not with thread, but with either yarn or maybe even like the embroidery floss or something like that, a little thicker, and just kind of whip stitch it around, but then use those as kind of stitches, so to speak, and then just do like a single crochet around the edge, and then what I would do to tack it down in the middle is just whatever color yarn, you know, is in that square, just tack it down here and there. So kind of a tied quilt, but a little bit of a different take on it. Anyway, if you think that's a good idea, you know, respond and let me know. Or if you think that's stupid, please let me know, so I don't waste my time or money on the fabric. So anyway, there's that. Second thing, I have done a lot of work on my Christmas sock because that's what I grab when I'm vending. I'm going to need to measure it here because I'm getting close to where I'm going to put the toe in. So last week, I was here, and as you can see, I have put in the heel and done the gusset, and I'm down the foot. So there we go. I am really enjoying doing my top down sock. I haven't done one in a long time, years and years, so it's been enjoyable. And it's great because when I'm working on it at the booth, you know, especially with Magic Loop, if a lot of times this brings people over too. Oh, what are you making? Or because I can just look around and knit, people are like, you're not even looking at that. Nope. And then they kind of look at my stuff. So it does actually attract people, but it also keeps my hands busy because it keeps my mind off the fact that my feet hurt as well. But with Magic Loop, if they stop to talk to me and I'm, you know, partway through, I can just pull the needles and just drop it and, you know, start talking to them and then pick it right back up and start knitting. And so, and it's festive, you know, and I'm at these Christmas shows, and so it's perfect fit. So anyway, that I do it on size 1s, and the yarn is Marathon Socks North Pole by Wisdom Yarns. I've never bought it at a store, so I don't even know if people carry it. I don't even know if this is still made. The gal I bought it from bought out a yarn store that was going out of business. So anyway, there's that. And it's in my fun project bag that has the measuring tape top that my friend made. Next is my sweater. It hasn't seen quite as much love, but it is definitely going to get some attention today because, well, it needs to. Oh good, I'm not partway through. The way it was hooked, it looked like I was partway through a row. I did finish the neck and have rejoined it, and I'm working down the front. If I remember correctly, I just want to do a few more rows before I start increasing for the bottom of the arms. Here's where I was last time, so you can see it just got maybe about 3.5 inches. Yeah, about 3.5 inches of work on it. But these are really long rows, So, so that much work, that's a considerable amount of knitting, because I'm going across the entire sleeve and the front and the whole other sleeve. It doesn't look like that because it's all scrunched up, but I promise it is. So that was actually a decent amount of work, effort-wise. So yeah, I think I decided I wanted to do just 5 or 6 more rows, but I only did 1 or 2, so I'll measure it again. I'm kind of adapting this to my size as I go, because armholes are always really, really big on me, and because I'm short, so yeah, I'm really close to starting the decreasing that will be, the front of the sleeves, and I really am tempted to like do a 3-needle bind off on it as I come back across. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Just a little less finishing at the end. We'll see. I don't know yet. Stay tuned. I'll let you know what I decide. But anyway, this is the Dagna pullover. It's a Webs pattern, and the yarn is Valley Yarns Haydenville. It's a superwash merino and microfiber blend. This is the Pompeii colorway, and I have it in a yarn ball holder that I affectionately call a ball sack. My friend will not call them that when she sells them. I told her it would be funny, but that's what we all call them. Anyway, totally inappropriate, I know, whatever. Anyway, on size 7s, nice and big. And that is living in my sweater-sized Knitting's My Bag. Lastly is a new project that I came across it when I was on Ravelry the other night. I was just kind of sitting and being lazy Friday night Saturday night after I got home from vending, and the BSU game was on, and we couldn't watch it because of the stupid channel that it was on, so I was listening to it online, kind of on the online radio, and came across this pattern. I don't even remember why, or how, how it came up in my... Oh, I was looking at the patterns based off of hot right now, the top 20, and then, anyway, so it's a crocheted pattern, and it's called the Window Pane Scarf. How cool is that? It's a 2-row repeat, totally memorizable, totally simple, but look at the effect that it has. And it's meant for like a Knit Picks Chroma fingering or something like that. I happen to have a skein of that, so here it is. Finally I'm using it. I got it years ago for this sweater that I don't even know why I thought I would do the sweater. It was for a pant. Anyway, I was never going to make it. Don't know why I thought I was. So you can see it started out with the blue transitioning to purple, and I'm actually right there. The blue is starting to transition a little bit into the purple. So I've done one whole color repeat. Oh, it's so much fun to just sit and work on. And I have it in another one of my ball sacks in there. So anyway, I don't really like singles yarn. In fact, I don't like it. And this is a great use for it because it's not going to hold up to a lot of stuff. So this is, you can see it's just their rainbow color. And I guess the Knit Picks yearly sale is getting ready to come. I was, do you ever do the Ravelry radar where you go into forums and click on radar and any new posts in any group essentially pops up? And there's, the Knit Picks lovers group. And there's this really active chat thread about people plotting and planning for their big sale for this year. And I was like, I remember that there was a big sale, but I don't anticipate it. I just get an email. I'm like, oh, hey, it's coming up in a couple of days. And then, I jump on and maybe look at a couple of things. But it was kind of fun to read their, their plans and their wish lists and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm a little bit tempted to look at the cost of like the Dishy, because I like to have some dishcloth cotton around. I don't make a lot of them, but it's nice to have. So I might watch that. And they do have like dollar deals. And I might jump on and see if there's anything that, you know, jumps out at me or anything, but I don't need any more. Like I said, I have a couple, you know, I wouldn't mind having some more dishcloth cotton because I really don't actually have that much, just a couple things of it, and they're Christmassy colors. So, you know, anyway, but you also have to offset the cost of shipping, like make it worth it. So anyway, I probably won't buy anything. If I do, it would just be, you know, one or two things, because I don't feel the need to have a bunch more stuff. I'm really, really happy with the yarns that I have, and I love how I have them displayed now because I can see all of them. And I sit down in my room, like, you guys, I love my new bedroom because I just sit down on my bed and I hang out and knit, and my yarn is right there, and I look at it and I'm like, I can't wait until I'm done with some of these projects so I can, you know, start something new with these beautiful yarns that I have. And anyway, total tangent. Man, I am talkative today. Good grief. All right, so there's that. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Just look it up. It's called Window Pane Scarf. Super, super easy. I kind of think it would be fun to make a wider one and make like a shrug out of it. You know how you just do a long rectangle and then just close, you know, the sides? I think this would look really cool, don't you? Not necessarily in this color, but any color, but you know, just a fun. Anyway, I think it would look cool. So I think I might make one when this is done. I haven't decided if I'm going to use the whole skein and just make one big long scarf. Some people were doing infinity scarves. Obviously, this is just long enough. I mean, heck, this is long enough to just be a quick cowl at this point. You know, which I might make 20 or 30 of these in every color that I have. Oh my gosh, I need to weigh this. All my leftovers. Oh, how fun would this be with just a bunch of leftovers and my little bits and bobs of hand spun? You might see a lot more of these in your future. You might see a lot more of these in my future too. Anyway, perfect length for just a pullover cowl. And if I made it just a little bit longer and put like a cute button on it, you could, anyway, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this pattern all over again. But some people made it long enough to wrap like a couple times and then just closed it together, you know, as an infinity scarf. I kind of want to use up the whole skein just to have it out of my stash too. So I might make this one, I might do the whole skein for this one and then just go nuts. Oh my gosh. I could throw some of these together for Christmas gifts. I don't even make Christmas gifts. You guys know that. Like, I'll make one, usually for my mother-in-law or something, but oh, yes. These, you will see these in your future. All right. Moving along. Oh, this is on a G hook. She calls for an E, but she said she's a super tight crocheter. I didn't do gauge. I just started working and I was like, yep, I like how it looks. I like the drape. I'm good. So I went up to a G. And you could obviously change it to any yarn weight, any, you know, you could do big, huge, bulky with one of the big hooks. Anyway, that's all I have for knitting. 43 minutes in. I did a little bit of spinning. I pulled out my drop spindle when I was vending, mostly because my friend had her like micro mini Turkish spindle. And I was like, hey, I have my little mini Turkish, and pulled it out and did one. But the reason I don't use that one when I'm vending is because the over-under thing. And if somebody stops to talk, I don't want to go, okay, hold on, wait, hold on, let me show you. And I'm not going to mess with that. So I just take my top whirl because I can just, oh, have you ever tried solid lotions? Nope, perfect. Set it down. I did work a little bit yesterday. I'm pointing right here. I'll just grab it and show you. I have my my always ongoing ply on the fly that I do with my awesome 3D printed one that I did. Sometimes I'll just pick it up and I do 5 times down to the floor and then put it down and go on with other stuff. Yesterday, even though it was Sunday and we really just had church, I just felt kind of busy. Part of it was that I was preoccupied in my mind because I knew that I had some business stuff I had to do after the kids went to bed and whatnot. And also my in-laws are coming into town this week, and so I was like, okay, let's start picking up. They don't care if the house is messy. It's not like one of those I have to impress my mother-in-law things, but I was just like, we just need to pick up. I'm trying not to let it get cluttered like it was before we did all of our house stuff. So anyway, I just had other things to do, but did my 5 times, 5 times to the floor. And this is a, is this the one that has silk in it? No, I think this is just a sock. I think this is a merino nylon. No, it's not merino. BFL, I don't remember. I have this in like 2 different colorways, or I have the same colorway in 2 different things of yarn. One of them has silk. I don't think it's this one. So anyways, I'm doing the play on the fly, which I love to do. This is one that I probably could do while I was vending, or at least fill up the thing. But yeah, the other thing I don't think I showed it last time I recorded. I started making these fun little rice bags. This one's a little full. It was the first one I made. It's a little bit fuller than I want. They're just little hand warmers. And I made a few others, and when I cut this out, the 2 of these out, I ended up having a strip that was about 8.5 inches by maybe 2 inches, and so I put those together and filled it up to make kind of a neck one. I mailed that off to my mother-in-law when I mailed some stuff to her. But anyways, they're super fun, and they take about 2 seconds to make up. Anyway, I do have one other thing as far as acquisitions goes that I left downstairs, and Quinn's asleep in my room, so I'm not going to go grab it. I got my final skein from Lisa's Fairy Tales, Myths, Fairy Tales, and Legends. Sorry, Lisa, I probably mixed those 3 up. But anyway, she had this great self-striping club, and this last one, oh my gosh, I just keep looking for stuff to make with it because the colors are awesome, and it's bulky. Oh, it's in her mega base, which someday I'm going to put in a sweater quantity order for that stuff. And I tell her that every year, every time I pull out, like I only have 2 skeins of it right now. And every year I buy like 1 or 2 more, and it gets me through because it's my favorite. It's my favorite base out of all of them. And it's the same as her other ones that are the superwash merino, but there's just something about it. It's just so squishy and nice, and I just want a sweater out of it so bad. So one of these years I will make a sweater out of that yarn, but it's just a lot of yarn to have to buy because there's like 100 yards in this. Anyway, it would be an expensive sweater, but one of these years I'm going to do it. I'll just save up through the whole year and be like, okay, Lisa, let's do it. Anyway, I will show that probably when I make something out of it. I haven't even put it away. It's sitting on top of my yarn cubbies because I'm not putting that away. It's going to be knit into something. I'm kind of leaning towards, do you remember last year when I was making those cowls that had the drawstring that can make it into a hat? I'm kind of leaning towards one of those because that's actually that's my go-to when I'm going to be going places, because I like the versatility of it. And now that my hair is a little bit kind of longer and floppy and not so fixed, I can put a hat on and take it off and it doesn't mess it up. I know, totally a vanity thing, but when it's short and it's fixed and then you go somewhere and you have to take your hat off, and anyway. Side note again. All right. You'll see it when I pull it out. I also got a very pretty gift in the mail from her that I paid for. I bought one of the, and I do think I talked about this in the past, but I'll show it as it comes up. I bought one of her, her advent calendars. I got the fiber version, so you'll get to see those starting on December 1st, which is a Friday. So I will record hopefully that morning. I do have a vending opportunity that just popped up this last weekend. That's it's at a retirement home. They call it Gracious Living because it's these guys they have apartments. So it's not a nursing home, it's an actual retirement home. But it's, I don't know, totally a vanity thing, but when it's short and it's fixed and then you go somewhere and you have to take your hat off, and anyway. it's a fancier one. So anyway, they're doing a show just from 10 to 2 that afternoon, and I've been asked to come to that. So I might not record that morning, but when I do record that weekend, I'll definitely show you guys the first couple that I've pulled out. All right, I'm gonna call this good. 50 minutes. I don't even remember the last time I had a 50-minute episode. They've been going so quick because I've been doing it every week. See, now my foot's starting to hurt. Let's trade here for the end. If you have any questions or comments, please, please, please feel free to leave them. I love hearing from you guys. I don't really have a very talkative group that watches, but I would love if it was. I love the interaction and the feedback. If you have any thoughts on anything that I've talked about, or questions, like I said, you can post on YouTube, or you can go over to the Ravelry group and post on there. You can always email me at mailtrandesigns@gmail.com. So anyways, there's a Facebook group or page and a Ravelry group as well. So anyways, yeah, I hope you have a wonderful week, and until next time, keep knitting. Bye.